I'm super, super excited to have our guest today, Leslie Quarles, who works with the state of Missouri on the Employment First initiatives for the state. I want you guys to know that Leslie's been a wonderful partner with the ARC over many, many years in a variety of different jobs that were really focused on employment. And she is going to talk to us about her current role and then go right into a presentation that she's going to share with us about the state of Missouri and supported employment. Welcome, Leslie.
Good afternoon, everyone. As she said, my name is Leslie Quarles, and I work on the Employment First Missouri initiative. I get really excited about stats and data, but I most get excited when we are seeing so many success stories in terms of opportunities being increased for individuals with disabilities. So I am going to turn my video off and share my screen. Okay, so first of all, I want to let you know what Employment First Missouri is. And that is an initiative of the Missouri Department of Mental Health, specifically the Division of Developmental Disabilities. And we strive to support community partners to expand their capacity to support individuals to be successful in obtaining and maintaining employment in the community in support of Missouri's Employment First policy. We believe that anyone who wishes to work can work. It's just a matter of determining the right job match and supports. So in terms of understanding employment services, some of the funding sources listed on the screen may be familiar to you. All individuals interested in competitive integrated employment, or CIE, in the community may pursue employment through a variety of the funding sources: Missouri Vocational Rehabilitation, Rehabilitation Services for the Blind, or RSB. And today I'm going to be focusing on Missouri DMH, which is the provider of waiver-funded employment services. Waiver-funded services provide support for every step of the path to employment. And as you can see from this graphic, benefits planning is the anchor. And beyond that, some services may overlap at times. Something that is unique about waiver-funded services is that some of those services can be provided at the same time. So what happens during career planning? Starting out with that, this is how we make a plan to reach our final destination, which is competitive integrated employment. We want to help you discover how your interests, hobbies, and passions might then relate to working in the community. We want to get to know you better, and you get to know yourself better. Your provider will work with you to make a plan for exploring one or several types of jobs based on your interests. And there are a lot of ways to explore careers. Maybe starting out watching a video or talking to someone who performs that kind of job. You might take a tour of a company or do an informational interview. Now, this is when your employer would introduce you to an employer where that kind of work is done. And then you get a chance to learn about that by touring, watching people work, and even asking questions. You typically end up learning a lot about that environment. You might learn things that you like and things that you don't like, and that's okay. That's all part of exploring, so there's no pressure to figure out everything on day one. A big part of career planning is also transportation planning. This could be piecing together more than one option. Maybe a grandparent or a family friend is available a couple of mornings a week to drop you off at work. And then public transportation or county transportation or another family member could be that other piece of your transportation. Sometimes it's not just about having one perfect option, but figuring out what is available on what days and times. And then that transportation availability is put together with your preferences for how many hours you would like to work per week. And then that's used to plan out your availability for work. Pre-vocational services are unique to waiver funded employment services. And what I mean by that is that this is not a service that is currently available through Missouri Vocational Rehabilitation. So during pre-vocational services, you have the chance to work on universal soft skills that will be needed in any type of work setting. You can work with your provider one-on-one or as part of a small group. Some activities might happen at the provider's office, but a big part of this is going out to volunteer at local nonprofit organizations so that you can practice what you're learning in real time. This is a great way to learn about safety awareness, build up your stamina, and work on interpersonal skills. Pre-vocational services can be provided at the same time as career planning or job development. For example, you might be doing some pre-vocational services for an hour and then move on to a career planning activity in the same day. During job development, you are helped with every step of the job search process. This may include meeting employers, completing applications, and interviews. The provider will also help to negotiate what kind of interview will best showcase your skills. For an example, an interview could be you sitting and talking with an employer, but not all interviews are done that way. Maybe you could chat with the employer during a company tour, or even do a working interview where you get to physically try out the job task. And then whenever it looks like a specific employer might be a match, it's important to return to that transportation planning. Supported employment supports begin when you are offered the job. You will be helped with all of the new hire processes, such as filling out paperwork and completing training. Your job coach is there to support you while you are being trained on your job duties and also help the employer know how you learn best. Your job coach might be there 100% of the time at first, but the goal is to help you connect with your coworkers and develop natural supports, such as knowing who else you can go to with a question. Over time, your job coach might fade or change how they support you as you become more confident and independent. Benefits planning can happen at any point during employment services. Maybe you need some initial concerns answered before you even feel comfortable exploring the possibility of working in the community. Or maybe once you have a job, you have new questions, such as if you are considering an increase in the number of hours you work. A certified benefits specialist will be able to address all of your concerns in terms of how your benefits may be impacted by working, and also explain the work incentives that help to make sure you are maximizing how much money you can earn. There are some things to keep in mind. Not everyone will need every waiver-funded employment service or in the same way. For example, someone may not need pre-vocational services at all. Or maybe you have some terrific soft skills, but you do need to work on your stamina. So you may only use a small amount of pre-vocational services along with the other services like career planning or job development. Sometimes a person is offered a job while participating in a career planning activity. And when that happens, we might essentially skip the job development stage since you were already offered a job, and then we just move right into supported employment. The point is that the waiver funded services are very holistic and they're designed to be individualized to what you need. And finally, there is a myth out there that everyone must first go through Missouri Vocational Rehabilitation Services before accessing waiver-funded services. That is not true. What is most important is that you are matched with the funder and services that will best meet your needs. So, it's really important to talk with your support coordinator about your goals and what you need to be successful. If it sounds like you'd benefit from a service that is only offered under the waiver, then you and your support coordinator can talk about using those waiver funded services instead of VR. Or if you pursued VR services in the past and it just wasn't the right fit, perhaps waiver funded services will be. And also, VR and waiver funded services can work together. They can be braided to provide seamless transition between services. There is another myth that someone must choose between day services and employment services. That's not the case either. You can be in employment services while still attending day services. And even after getting a job in the community, you can still participate in day services if that's what best fits your needs. Again, it's just very important you talk with your support coordinator and your team about your goals and needs. Now, it is necessary to have Medicaid to then pursue eligibility for a waiver. And it's a waiver that funds many home and community-based insurance or based services. So Medicaid is not just insurance, it's way beyond that. Starting at age 18, individuals can apply for Medicaid using only their personal income and resources. So parents' income and resources should not be counted at that point. So if you are curious about working in the community, that's awesome. Start talking with your family, your teachers, friends, and support coordinator. The sooner the better. If you have a friend that works, ask them about their job. Start thinking about volunteer experience you may have had through your school, a scout troop, or church. Think about what you did and what you learned from those experiences. Write down your interests and places you might like to visit. Oh, and make a list of any assistive technology, such as apps that you've used at home or school, because some of these might end up helping you at work. And if it's been several years since you graduated, that's okay. Whether you have or have not worked before, it is great to explore community employment. There is a lot of helpful info on the DMH website. When visiting the site, there are lots of tabs with info for what services are available and how to access them. There's the Promoting Employment section, which provides more information on Employment First. And finally, there's a map of the regional offices so that you can contact the one nearest to where you live. My role and my coworkers' roles with Employment First is to support the organizations that provide waiver-funded employment services. So I'm really happy to see that so many individuals and families are considering learning about competitive integrated employment. This is just a really exciting time, and I know Sharon can attest that we just see more and more success stories every single day.